Hello, my friends. Welcome. My name is Joe. This is the Joe Martino Show, and today we're going to talk about what can we learn from change. And this is not necessarily like the whole, instead of asking why is this happening to me, ask what can I learn from this, which is important, right? That is an important thing to consider. This is more of what exactly can we learn about change, about ourselves? And then what do we do? Let's kick it off. This is the Joe Martino Show.
You're listening to the Joe Martino Show, a podcast dealing with all things emotional, relational, and human nature. Joe is a licensed counselor in the state of Michigan, specializing in relationship therapy. He is also the author of the book, The Emotionally Secure Couple. All advice offered in this episode is offered for entertainment and educational purposes only. Enjoy the show.
All right, well, welcome back. I hope that your day is going well wherever your day is. I hope that you are having a great day. I want to talk to you. We're rolling into the end of the year. By the time this airs, my daughter will be married, which is pretty cool, but also change. And I was talking to somebody and they were asking me, like, hey, how are you dealing with the change? A lot of changes at your house. How's that going? I was talking to somebody else and they were talking about how hard a year this has been. And it's been a hard year for my wife and I as well. There's been challenges and different things that have happened that we have had to navigate. And as we do that, as we navigate those changes, as we lean into those hard times, there was a saying that I was reminded of with a friend of mine who said, the thing about change is that it illuminates character. When your character will be illuminated when you experience change, especially change that you don't want. Now, the truth is, something I think that can get lost sometimes is that good change can also be difficult. Things that are good can also be difficult. For instance, my daughter getting married is good change. You want your kids to grow up. You want them to become productive adults. And part of that is getting married and having kids and building a family. Those reflect my values. And that change is still hard. But more often than not, people struggle with the change of things not going the way that they want them to. They talk about things not happening in a way that they want them to. And one of the things that I think about a lot is it's easy to have character when things are going your way, when things are moving forward in a way that's helpful, when things are going forward in a way that you want them to. But we tend to make excuses for ourselves when things are bad. For instance, in sports, you'll see this a lot. Somebody will throw a punch. Somebody will do something that not only is just bad sportsmanship, but it hurts their team. And the fan base, maybe even the coach, certainly the parents, if they're high school athletes, will be like, well, I don't agree with it, but. He shouldn't have thrown that punch, but the other guy shouldn't have, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, so there's something going, it's changed from norm. It's not what you're looking for. Your character is the one that's displayed. What you're actually saying is it's okay to throw punches when somebody is talking smack to me in a sports game. And it's one of the reasons that I rant and rave that we really don't use sports to teach character anymore. Character is irrelevant. When Juwan Howard was coach of the University of Michigan's men's basketball team, he smacked people in the after-game handshake line. And the excuses were, well, he's really frustrated. The solution was maybe we shouldn't do handshake lines because people can't control themselves anymore. So here's the thing. Change and turmoil reveals your character. And Juwan Howard's character was not that of what should be of a men's Division I basketball coach. I literally had someone, a church-going guy, say to me, well, but what if the other team was just smack-talking him? Who cares? That's what I hear when you say that. It sounds that have no meaning. Because character is revealed when things don't go our way. If you want to know what your character is, ask yourself, how are you doing when things aren't going your way? And listen, I am speaking to myself here because there's a lot of things going on in my life that aren't going the way that I would hope they were. There's a lot of, and not my daughter getting married. That's actually a pretty good thing. She got a good guy. But there's things going on in my life that are not going the way that I want them to. And my character is still revealed in how I operate in that moment. My character is still revealed in how I operate around my family, how I talk to my family, how I interact with my family. And this kind of plays off of last week's episode, if you haven't listened to it yet, episode 319, where it talks about what kind of you does your family get. Is the you at work the best version of yourself, or is it the you that your family gets? Which one is more tolerant? Which one has more grace? Which one is more willing to engage in things that are uncomfortable for the sake of the people they love? That's how your character is revealed. What do you do when life isn't going your way? What do you do when there is change that you don't want? How do you talk to people? How do you treat people? That's what reveals your character. And we want character that is the same when we are having good things happen and when change happens and it's not good things. And it's okay. We want to embrace that moment. And so for the rest of today, what I want to do, or the rest of this episode, what I want to do is I want to give you 8 steps that I think will help you to kind of shape character that you want in times of change and turmoil. And the first thing that you have to do is you have to observe your default reactions. What are some things that you do when something changes or falls apart? What's your first emotional response? Is it angerness, defensiveness, blame? Maybe control. Maybe it's just you just observe and you're numb. Whatever it is, I want you to just observe what's your default reaction. Like when something doesn't go right, when there's a plan and it changes, when things are going well and then it kind of moves away, what is it for you that you're doing? What do you do? What do you just observe that? Do you get mad? Do you yell? And make a distinction here, this is really important, between emotions and behavior. We tend to conflate the two in our modern society, but they're not the same. I was just talking to somebody yesterday and he said, listen, you can be mad and not respond with anger. That's not the same. And then I want you to ask the why question twice. So I want you to ask yourself, why did I react that way? And then why does that matter so much to me? Whatever the thing is that caused this big reaction, why did I react that way? And why does it matter so much to me? Typically, that second question will be what gives us some deep answers into our own insecurities. And then we have the opportunity to move forward and to grow. So we're going to ask ourselves, what is it that I do? Then we're going to ask ourselves, why do I do that? And why was it so important to me that this big emotion started? Then next we come to a question that I want you to ask in the moment, but I'd love for you to ruminate on it. I want you to identify your anchors. When things are going bad, when you're in times of turmoil, when there's a lot of change, maybe some instability, what are the things that you cling to feel like you have stability going on? What are things that you cling to that help you feel like you have stability happening? And sometimes this can be good things, but also sometimes this can be things that just numb. For instance, a good thing might be you cling to your family. You purposely find time to spend with your family. But a numbing thing might be you go and you ingest substances that help numb the pain temporarily. It might be you become something of a fitness freak and you go to the gym 3-4 hours a day and that becomes your whole life. And I'll let you decide whether or not that's good. But you have to ask yourself, are these anchors actually helping me stay anchored in this time of turmoil and change? Or are they actually just numbing the discomfort that I have? The fourth question that we're going to do, or the fourth step that we're going to do, is we're going to look for repeating patterns. We're going to review the last few major disruptions in our life, look at them, right? The last 6 months, what were the big changes that happened in your life? Or over the last 2 years, what were the issues in your life where change and turmoil happened? And are there repeating patterns that were either helpful or unhelpful? That's all we're looking for here is, I regularly do this, and you know what? That seems to be helpful. Or I don't do this, and that doesn't seem to be helpful. We have to be brutally honest with ourselves here. And if you've been listening for any amount of time, you know that is one of my favorite phrases, that health begins with brutal honesty. Brutal honesty about ourselves. We don't have to go be brutally honest to other people about it, but to ourselves, we can't scam ourselves in whatever's going on. So if we're looking for these repeating patterns, are they repeating patterns that are helpful or hurtful to our overall health? And now we get to maybe the hardest step. If you really want to know what you do when change happens. And if you believe that change and turmoil is what reveals your character, ask the people that know you the best, the people that live with you. Hey, when you see me and life gets hard, how do I respond? When my life isn't going well, how do I respond? Are those healthy responses or unhealthy responses? And here's the trick, you can't defend yourself. You just want their opinion, you want their honest feedback, and then you want to listen and take that in and then move forward with that on your own, right? How does this work? Just tell me about what you see going on in me. And I'll tell you, as a therapist, I see this a lot. There are people that aren't willing to admit what they're doing. I have friends. I have a friend right now that his marriage is in real trouble. It's just absolutely on fire. And he refuses to see what he's doing. His wife refuses to see what she's doing to contribute to that. And as that happens, they're losing their honesty with themselves. They're not going to go get honest feedback from people. They're not going to go, right? My friend, when he wants to just complain about his wife, I'll be like, well, wait, what about this for you? Well, she was mad. Okay. You still did this and that brought destruction. And he just refuses to see it. And so if you're going to ask for honest feedback, you have to embrace whatever they say for clarity's sake, not to defend yourself. It can be very difficult. Okay, so now we've looked at ourselves and we've asked ourselves, like, how do I respond when something's going bad? How do I respond when change happens? We have looked at the things that we typically run to for, like, in a repetitive manner. We have asked for honest feedback. We have looked for those patterns. We have identified our anchors. What do we do now? Okay, so this is where it gets interesting because you can feel overwhelmed. Like there could be like, okay, well, I've got to do all these things. All we're going to do is we're just going to pick one target behavior that we want to implement the next time we're distressed, the next time there's change, the next time there's turmoil. We just want to pick one target behavior. And maybe it's something like, hey, the next time I feel anxious, I'm going to pause for 60 seconds before responding. Or if 60 seconds feels like it's way too long, I'm going to pause for 16 seconds. And if you don't know what I'm talking about there, it's four box breathing, right? A slow, deep breath. Hold for 4 seconds. Release slowly, relatively speaking, 4 seconds. And then sit in silence 4 seconds. And then I'm going to respond. Maybe it's the next time I feel like my world's blowing up, I'm going to create a gratitude journal. And as these things happen, as we start to move through them, we're just going to pick one behavior that we're going to focus on. And we want to bring that front of mind so that when we actually are distressed, we engage in that behavior. And then here's one of the most important steps. We want to practice reflection, not regret. Maybe at the end of the day, we'll ask ourselves, where did I act from my most true self today? Where did I engage in a way that most purely reflected my values? Or where in this, because let's be honest, a lot of times turmoil and change is long. Where in this long run of turmoil and change in my life have I responded the best? And how can I duplicate that? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have regret, but regret that doesn't spurn us to change, that doesn't drive us to move further into our lives of who we want to be, probably isn't helpful regret. We want reflection more because reflection incorporates, hey, I didn't do that well there, that's regret, but I did do it well there, and now we're moving forward. And this leaves us with our most powerful step. We need to anchor the change that we want in our daily habits. Character isn't built in crisis, it's revealed in crisis, right? It's not built in change, it's revealed in change. It's not built in turmoil, it's revealed in turmoil. And so what we want to do is we want to use the time between the change, between the turmoil, between the crises. We want to create habits that build the character that we want in those times. If you think about a sports team, they'll do push-ups and they'll run laps and they'll run wind sprints, not so they can do push-ups in the game, but because it builds muscles that they're going to use in the game. It builds conditioning, lung capacity that they're going to use in the game. And this typically, people get stuck here because it feels, again, kind of like the last step, or 2 steps ago, it feels overwhelming. It feels too big. And so what we want to do is we want to just have small, consistent practices that reinforce who we want to be. Maybe you do start the habit of gratitude journaling. Maybe you start some level of a daily prayer life. Maybe you find 1 or 2 friends that you can meet with somewhat regularly to hold you accountable. Maybe you serve other people. But whatever it is, you want to start building your character in your daily habits. So you're going to have to spend time deciding, what is the character that I want? What is the character that I want to have? And what do those behaviors look like? And when you get to those behaviors, you start to do, what's the smallest behavior that I can do that can then help that move forward? And as you go through these steps, observing our default reactions. We might want to change some of those, but we're not going to change those in the crisis. We're going to change those in the time between the crises. Asking the why question twice. Why did I respond that way? And why was that so important to me? What are my anchors? Looking for repeating patterns. Going and getting honest feedback. And then choosing target behaviors. This blends with the building our character in between. How do we practice reflection and not regret? Anchor change in these daily habits. When you do these 8 steps, you'll see over time that you're going to build the life that you want. And you'll also notice this has nothing to do with your work. It has nothing to do with what you accomplish in creating things. It's just who you are. I hope that you found these helpful. I hope that they move you forward. I hope that you find growth in them. And I'd love to hear what works for you and what doesn't. Feel free to email me. Go to my website, click on the Contact Joe page. Go to iamjoemartino.substack.com and you can leave me a comment underneath this post. Whatever works for you, I'd love to hear from it. If you found value in this, would you please share it with your friends? Don't forget to subscribe as well. That way you can get this right to your inbox every week. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please share with a friend. And hey, give us that rating in your podcast store. Until next time, change possible.